Today I'm going to break down the legendary masterpiece that is Silhouettes by Avicii, and specifically we're going to focus on the drop. My goal with today's video is to emphasize the extent to which Avicii would go with his chords and melodies to add so much life and energy to them. We're going to pick apart every little trick and method he used to do this so that you can understand them and apply these tricks to your own music. Let's go ahead and get into it. This drop is built around 3 basic chords that use a piano. This is very typical of Avicii. The piano I'll be using is this Free Labs piano. And the 3 chords are this D flat major, this F minor, and this E flat major, and in their root form they sound like this. Now that's pretty basic, but watch how many things Avicii did to these chords to take them out of this root form and make them actually sound fun. The first thing that we see is that he used a pedal tone. A pedal tone is a note that follows the chord progression, but it never changes during the whole chord progression. Now this pedal tone is interesting because the chord progression is in the key signature of F minor, and this pedal tone sits on the tonic of its relative major scale, which is A flat major. This is the same chord progression and pedal tone combination that we've seen from other artists like Deadmau5, Martin Garrix, and the Chainsmokers, and I think that is pretty cool. So these chords, as they sit, they're in root form, which means they have their root note, and then the third, and then the fifth. Avicii rarely used his chords like that. In a lot of his songs, he would take this middle note and put it up an octave like that. It gives the chord a more open sound when the third is on top of the fifth. And that's cool, but there's more. The next thing we see is a lot of these passing chords. Passing chords are like side chords in between the main chords. Let me show you what I mean. So after this first chord, he steps down to this chord here. But I don't think it's played as a chord. So it's really just a passing bass note. But there's a passing chord here to get to this chord, so there's like 2 passing chords almost. And then this little transition sounds like this. You can almost hear Avicii coming out, but there's more. The next passing chord is in between these 2. So we have to make room for it by pulling that back, and pulling this over. And that chord is a G5 interval, and it's technically not even a chord because the third note here is the pedal tone. So it's just a G5 interval. Interval is just 2 notes plus a pedal tone. And then we have one more note. It's technically a chord. Or it's not a chord actually. Again, it's just a interval with the pedal tone, and I think this note extends. So then we get this really unique chord progression. Sounds like this. But Avicii being Avicii, he rarely ran his pianos like this in his drops. So these chords, they actually run a dotted 8th note pattern, which sounds like this. Actually, let's make the velocity stronger. That's not right. This note, I don't think is in there. Instead, the end of this goes up there, and we get rid of that. So technically, this first chord is just an interval plus a pedal tone, and it sounds like this. That sounds like Avicii. Now, if you think that's cool, let me show you something even more interesting. Remember the video where I broke down Language by Porter Robinson? Well, here's the chord progression from that song. Notice how the structure of these chords versus the structure from Avicii's Silhouettes resemble each other in that we have one long chord, and then all of the movement of the chord progression is in the second half. And not only that, but Language also only uses a root note, the fifth, and also a pedal tone. That is just too wild. So to get here, we had to take our chords out of root form, add a pedal tone, add passing chords, and add rhythm to them. And now we can write the lead. This is where it's going to get really nostalgic. To write this lead melody, I'm going to take the note and we're going to use the same instrument. Actually, I meant to say I'm going to take the pedal tone and then copy and paste it on another piano. So we get that. I think it starts on that note. But this piano is actually triple layered, and I don't know how I was able to hear this, but we take it and put it on 3 different octaves. I guess it's not that hard to hear. I'm just going to turn this layer down a little bit. Right back to high school. This takes me right back to high school. Notice how it follows the rhythm of the piano chords so perfectly. High school. Right back to high school. Now if we go back to these chords, notice how we took the rhythm from the chords to make our melody. Now we're going to take the bottom note of the chords to make our bass line. So we're going to copy those. I have this bass synth loaded up from my orbital pack. We're going to paste these notes. That's got to come down an octave. Remember with bass, you're looking for a bass that sits in between 40 and 80 hertz. That's the strongest sub bass. And now this bass follows the chords and the lead. When the rhythm of your bass directly works with the chords and the lead, you will get the tightest, biggest sound. Now here's another sound also from Orbital. I couldn't find the exact sound that he layered in his drop, but this one still works and adds a lot of that weightless feeling to the drop. Here they are alone. Now, I totally get that supersaws are the most overused sound in the world, but they always sound awesome. Then we have a kick. And then with everything, you can take a field trip back to Nostalgia Town. That's a video for you guys. Course students, I will be doing another round of video feedback in the track feedback section of the student Discord. So if you missed the last round, make sure to get into the track feedback channel of the student Discord, and you will receive a video response from me ripping your track apart and telling you how to fix it. I will be doing these video feedbacks for the next 2 days from the time of uploading this video. Make sure you get your track uploaded. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for the next video.